All my systems are now up and running. Perfect. Let's get started. Welcome to Reality Jumper. I'm Dhomneek, your Chief Curiosity Officer and Reality Jumper Guide. Together, we are mapping the landscape of human experience, and tonight we are looking at the relationship between personality, identity, and the habits that gradually construct our lives. This episode comes directly from my Atomic Habits Challenge. It's what I read, I believe, last night, and it really just got me thinking. It's talking about personality and genetics and how those affect your habits and the things that you're more likely to do. And it's just a very interesting part of the book. This episode comes directly from that. So, uh, I've been reading, streaming, journaling, and doing my pull-ups every day. And part of what made this challenge work is that it doesn't feel like I'm simply repeating the same checklist. Every day creates something, a question, a stream, conversation, a piece of the project, a new pattern to study. Um, that matters because I know something about myself. Repetition alone is not especially exciting to me. If you're not familiar with hedonic adaptation, I recommend you look into it. I did take a course. I think Harvard put on the courses, a course you can sign up for through Coursera, and it was about, it discussed hedonic adaptation. I believe it was like a neuroscience-y kind of course. I don't fully remember now, but I know one of the key points was hedonic adaptation, which is just, you like to switch from thing to thing to thing to thing, because you like the new experience, the new freshness from it. So, uh, just a little bit about me there. So, if I had simply written down, read 10 pages every day, I might have completed it for a while, but connecting those pages to Reality Jumper changes the experience. Now that a habit produces an idea, the idea produces an episode, the episode produces a conversation, the conversation becomes part of the human atlas. It's what I think about all day, every day at this point. I love it. It's quite exciting, actually. There's a lot to be discovered, a lot of the world that can be explored, and that's what I hope to do. So, um, the repeated behavior remains the same, but the meaning around it completely different. The personality informed habits design. Yeah, yeah. My personality is informed habit design. Oh, it's weird to say. I don't know why it doesn't make sense in my brain. Uh, yeah, okay. I'm not changing the destination, changing the route. Okay. So let's get into why the same habit feels different to different people. Okay. So we often talk about habits as though the behavior itself contains the reward. Exercise is rewarding, reading is rewarding, planning is rewarding, waking up early is rewarding to some people, but that is not completely true. The external behavior may be the same, but the internal experience depends on the person. It's two different things going on at once. Imagine two people joining the same running club. One person experiences the group as energy. They enjoy the conversation, encouragement, shared goals. The social environment makes them want to return every day. Second person experiences the exact opposite. With the group, it feels like pressure. They're thinking about whether they're keeping up, whether people are judging them, whether they are expected to talk. For the first person, the social component increased the reward. For the second, it increased the cost. I've known a lot of people that are like this. I'm a very extroverted person, but I know a lot of introverts. So it's having that understanding of, not everything is for everybody is a great fundamental philosophy to live by, if I do say so myself. Um, Neither person technically hates running, but they're reacting different because they're getting different versions of the habit that they're doing. So imagine the two people using a strict morning routine. The first person sees structure and thinks, good. I do not have to decide what is next. The second person sees the same structure and thinks, great. My entire morning has already been decided for me. Think about it. Think, add add this, add the tool of complete opposite perspective. I personally find it quite fascinating. Uh, Anything and everything that you agree on or like or prefer or find yourself interested in or you don't like, whatever it is, all your preferences. There was someone on this planet who was 100% opposite of you. No matter what it is, there's somebody who exists that is the opposite to every that there's just somebody that's the opposite of every single one of the things that you believe in to the fullest extent. Think about that. The perspectives could be completely different. Reality is a shared experience. We check the chat. See, I mean, that was pretty deep chat. Pretty deep. Let me check, see if I got something to say. Yeah. All right. Great analogies. Great comparisons, in my opinion. Built to stay up late. Some people need to be in bed by 9. Some people just need to be able to have a full 10 hours of sleep. Some people need 2 hours of sleep. Everybody is different. And that's the point. You know, let me just do a little confirmation here. We had a couple of technicals. I just want to make sure that everything is still rolling here. The stream said it dropped. Let me double check. Oh, it did. And we back though. Oh, wow. We are back. Every time I get a drop, I gotta figure out what's going on with my internet. But anyway, back to the story at hand. Um, yeah, we'll go ahead and move on. So let's discuss personality traits and the habit design. Let me get us something to drink. Some work stuff running. Ah, you love to see it. All right. We in there, we in there. Hasala. Hasala indeed. I want an Hasala. That's what I want. Anyway, back to personality traits and habit design. Let's see. One useful way to examine personality is through broad tendencies. Not necessarily boxes, diagnoses, or permanent identities. They're more like patterns. And the first is openness. Y'all know about openness? Ain't no wrong being open. I don't see nobody else interested. If you don't like being open, say something in the chat. Anyway, people higher in openness may be more attracted to novelty, experimentation, creativity, new environments, unusual ideas, and variety. For that person, a habit may survive when it keeps evolving. A workout program may need rotating challenges. A reading habit may need different subjects. Um, that's a good point because after I finish this book, for the month of August, I'm doing a 1 month certification challenge, I guess. I want to study, prepare, study, and take the test and pass the test in the month of August. I have 31 days to accomplish it, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to get it done. Actually, you know what? I'm guaranteeing I'm going to get it done. That's how confident, because I'm going to put good systems in front of me. So be ready for that for next month for all you cool cats and kittens keeping up. All right. I'm going to change it sometimes. Yeah, so what I was discussing, for a higher openness person, a habit may survive when it keeps evolving. A workout program, rotating, doing different sets. I'm doing pull-ups every day. I'm fine with that. I'm somebody who can do a repetitive task endlessly. I've worked in so many weird industries. I used to make motors overnight, and all you got is yourself to talk to up there in your head. And yeah, you got to be able to, you know, rotate through the challenges. Yeah. Uh, a reading habit may need different subjects. So thinking that, going from my book to certifications, similar aspect, but not perfect. What else we got today? All right. Let's get back to it. We are discussing conscientiousness. That's a tough word to say. Conscientiousness. Lock in though. All right. Conscientiousness relates to organization, planning, and follow through. You are conscientious. Those are things that you are good at. Someone naturally high in conscientiousness may enjoy calendars, checklists, schedules, streaks, clearly defined completion. Well done. I don't know. How about that? I must be very conscientious because I've added all those things into my graphic of sorts. It's part of my challenge. I let everybody know, you know, my schedule, on the streak I'm on, or maybe that's more for me. Either way, it's a validating experience. So, and it's probably because those systems feel rewarding in themselves. Someone lower in conscientiousness, Steve's in the chat, conscientiousness. Say that 5 times fast. Hmm. I will not be doing that. Yeah, so someone lower in the conscientiousness may not receive that same reward from planning. Telling that person to create a more complicated tracking system may actually make the habit harder. So some folks just can't navigate the deep maze. They want the corn maze. Got it. Don't worry about the reference. They may need fewer steps, visible cues, immediate rewards, automatic preparation, a very small minimum requirement, fewer decisions at the moment of action. Man, that sounds like people I know. That's crazy. Now I can put words to the actions. You're not very conscientious, which is not to say that's a bad. It's not to say it. It's just saying it's something that I'm noticing, and you have to be aware when people have a less conscientiousness of feel or whatever it's called, you know? So there's no requirement to be conscientious. That's all I'm saying. Don't feel like it's calling you out if you're not. It's all good in the hood. So the lesson is not some people are disciplined and some are doomed. The lesson is people need different amounts of external structure. Let me hit you with that one more time. The lesson is not some people are disciplined and some are doomed. The lesson is people need different amounts of external structure. Lots of different brains, lots of different inputs, lots of different mixes and matches of different inputs to create the unique human beings that we are. So each one of those is going to require its own unique, or at least generally similar structure. That's why people, you walk around and people have, are types. I don't want to pick on them, but when you think of somebody who's goth, they are a type. Um, that doesn't mean that they, are any better or worse, but the external structures they're going to need to thrive in an environment they're excited for is probably different than somebody who is, say, somebody likes to keep to themselves and be more introverted, or maybe the extreme extrovert. Either side of the aisle there. So think about that. One person carries the structure internally, another needs an environment to carry more of it, and you got to just kind of play around with it. Just play around with it. All right. See if there's any comments in the chat. One day there will be multiple comments, I tell you. You can't tell me nothing. Let me go ahead and, that's going to mess up my thing. I didn't want to do all that. I don't want to do all that. Huh. Okay, what we going to do? We keep it moving? I ate a Starburst earlier. That thing was not going down. Let me tell you. Let's move on to extroversion. I'm an extrovert in the chat. Throw up your E's. I ain't going to do it. That's gang sign too. But y'all know Big E Give me a big E up there. Y'all got it. It's not a 3. I did it right. You know, I'm the E in the chat because your boy is somewhat of an extrovert. I don't know. I feel like I am. There are definitely different degrees of extroverts. I'm definitely a more go with the flow kind of guy, not a thrill seeker, but a thrill doer if prompted properly. You feel me on that? If you invite me, oh snap, what up? I'm into it, but can be into it. Okay, that's what's up. That's what's up. Yeah, I don't know. I think that I think I'm full extrovert. I really don't have too many introvert traits. Any social event really is a good time. I am lazy now. I will not. I'll avoid going out just because I don't feel like it. But that doesn't necessarily control my extroversion. Yeah, yeah. We'll continue on there. So yeah, extroversion affects how social environments influence energy and motivation. Okay, extroversion affects how social environments influence energy and motivation. A more extroverted person, may benefit from public commitments, group challenges, live classes. A more introverted person, private tracking, solo practices, quiet environments. So I don't know, Larry. I mean, based on what I know about you, you come off to me as an extrovert. That seems. I mean, you always got somebody around you. Every time I see you, you with somebody. So I don't know. You're an introvert who forced yourself into the extrovert world. Hmm. Intriguing. Interesting. I guess, man. That's huh. Didn't see that coming. A true introvert that runs an entire organ. I guess just because you're an introvert doesn't mean you can't, go out and do things. Shout out to you. Keep up the good work. Uh, where was that? Let's see. Now, for me, for this challenge, I think the public accountability has worked well. Um, and I mean, knowing that, you got support, got Larry in the chat, that does make me, want to keep doing it, if it is even to one person. I think it's entertaining chats for myself. And I always like to have introspective conversations anyway, so why not do them on camera and maybe find some more people who like to dive introspectively into their own worlds and minds and the surroundings around them. Uh, yeah, so overall, though, the public accountability, I do think has worked well. I stream the progress. I discuss what I read. The audience creates a level of expectations. Like I want to be able to create engagement. I want to, make it feel genuine. Make it feel like I'm just not, reading a book at you. Um, yeah. So, but for someone else, turning a private goal into public performance could destroy their enjoyment. Not me again. I get full on extrovert. Um, but again, with the caveat is I don't seek it out, but I definitely enjoy it while I'm doing it. Like I don't want to be the center of the stage, but if I got to be, I can be. Not a problem. Let me know what I need to do. I'll jump in there. Uh, love a good undercover mission. Uh, anyway, so a very common, I guess, trick or common advice is tell everybody your goal so they hold you accountable. But that's not universally useful. So, some people that does help. Some people it makes you want to actually not do it. Um, I've run into a lot of instances where I've told people my ideas And after, discussing it or them suggesting their ideas or critiquing it, I was like, actually, no, I'm not really interested in it. So I started just executing ideas and then getting the feedback after. Oh, snap. Who we got in the chat here? What's who we got here? Hey, welcome to the channel. Welcome, welcome. Okay, what were we discussing? Let's see. Oh yeah, telling people your goal so they hold you accountable. That's what's up. Uh, I've used this and I've kind of tested it out again with this whole project, trying to see, um, where to go. Oh, I was trying to see if it actually works. Telling people to go, having the public pressure. I don't think I really feel the pressure, but it is a good. I guess it's a motivator, knowing at least some people seem generally interested. Hold on, I got some comments in the chat here, so let me focus on that real quick. Oh, I highly suggest it. I don't know if you've taken time to analyze your own habits, but it has some great insights on how to change your habits, understand your habits, and I've seen it even just in my 26 days, just the way I think about my interactions around the house. Uh, I've completely changed because everything does influence what I'm going to do. So if I want to have a certain kind of day, I try to prepare and get my things out in a way that's going to make me actually do those things. Um, and I made mention of this on a prior stream, but I used to have to set up my entire streaming station every time I wanted to stream. I had to take out the laptop, set up the camera, get all the cables and PlayStation hooked up, and it was just a chore. I didn't like streaming as much. Now I stream from my desk. It's much easier to have set up. I also have 3 screens. I don't have to move any power cables. It just works. I can come over here, do what I need to do, and I can go. So another point, it make things easy. I made it easy, and now I have successfully streamed, more than I have in quite some time. So hoping to keep this up. I have another book coming up, actually, probably post my certification. Let me grab that real quick. Uh, yeah. So I also got this book. So as I learned that I have aphantasia, I was gifted this book, and I want to read it to kind of get a understanding of kind of how my brain works. You know, I think I said around 5% of the world has aphantasia. I've made up a couple cool stories about it, but I'm gonna read this person and see what they think they know about it. But the book is called Aphantasia: Journeying Through the Mind Blindness and Embracing Our Unique Neurodiversity with Passion and Purpose. So seems super interesting. Um, and now that I hopefully have developed a reading habit, I will get to that in the next upcoming months. Yeah, I agree. I mean, if it feels good, it feels like it's the right thing to do, it feels easy, you're going to do it. I mean, we as humans definitely um, take the easiest path whenever we can. So we'll definitely make whatever habit you want to accomplish easy, and you're good to go. Uh, so, well, we'll jump back to it. I'll keep an eye on the chat. So let's talk about agreeableness and competition. So think of the difference of cooperation versus competition. Okay? So some people are strongly motivated by cooperation. They want to help the team. They do not want to disappoint a partner. They enjoy encouragement and shared progress. Others become more engaged through competition. We all know somebody who's hyper competitive. I'm not that way. I mean, I like a good competition, but I, over the years, have grounded myself and I'll say lost that competitive bite because, at the end of the day, it's all fun and games for the most part. Um, Dominating in competition doesn't do it for me anymore. So, but nothing wrong with being highly competitive. Just not my ministry anymore these days. But I'm still pretty good at stuff. So don't think I'm just some pushover. Anyway, yeah, others become more engaged through competition. They want, people love personal records, breaking records at your high school gym, a ranking. They want an opponent, something, a difficult target, something to prove. They need that little bit of motivation, uh, and they hate, they like the animosity that competition brings, the energy that it brings in there. So um, that doesn't mean cooperative people lack ambition, and that doesn't mean competitive people dislike others. It just means the reward systems are different. It's all about reward system. At the end of the day, a habit, the end of the habit is a reward. You you accomplish something, you get something, you reward yourself at the end of it. So um, keep in mind how important a reward is when you're setting up the habits that you're trying to either do or get rid of, get rid of some bad habits. If the reward is, always ice cream or, smoking or drinking, it's going to be hard to break because, that you enjoyed that reward. You need to move that habit reward system to something else, and it can definitely help. So I've definitely done that. I've pivoted my drinking away to, just reading and playing games. Find something else to distract you, and it's easy enough to do. I won't say easy. Let me not minimize anybody's struggles out here. But I found it easy to do what I did. Anywho, um, so going back to the two different types, called cooperative and competitive. One person may build an exercise habit through, my friend and I are doing this together. You need your gym buddy. You need somebody to motivate you to show up at your house and say, "Hey, you got your gym clothes on? Let's go." Another may build it through, I'm beating last month's numbers. I want to steadily improve. My whole mantra here is, 1% improvement every day. Do something a little better, be a little more consistent. Whether no matter what it is, big, small, just always try to, make your day, make your life easier and better. Hey, what's up, Red? Good to see you. Um, but yeah, so that's the same behavior, just different motivational architecture. So you got to figure out what your motivations are, and life is great. It's a game changer. This book has really taught me a lot of good things. So let's see. Let's jump into the next topic. We'll go with let's see. Oh, here's a good one. I like it. Let's discuss personality versus identity. Yeah. Personality versus identity. Okay, so this is where, personality and identity need to be separated. A lot of people combine them, confuse them, get them wrong. Personality describes tendencies. Identity describes a story you repeatedly reinforce through action. So, personality describes tendencies. Identity describes a story you repeatedly reinforce through action. So, think about that. Okay. So your personality might say, "I get bored easily." A limiting identity says, "I never finish anything." A designed identity says, I finish things by building a variety into the process. Personality might say, I just like rigid schedules. A limiting identity says routines don't work for me. A designed identity says I use flexible routines with fixed minimums. Personality, might say I become anxious when I don't perform perfectly. It's funny that I messed up on that, but hey, it is what it is. Um, a limiting identity says I can't handle pressure. A designed identity would say something like I build recovery into my system before pressure arrives. So a lot of self-evaluation, but you need to, if you can identify the pain points or what is limiting yourself, um, you can build habits to help, you get through those things. And I think that's amazing. Simple, small changes can do a lot. Um, let's see what else we got. So, so check the chat, looking good. So personality determines the path of least resistance. Identity determines the direction you keep walking. Does that make sense? Personality determines the path of least resistance. Identity determines the direction you keep walking. Right. Your personality is not your destiny. It is the terrain. If you're mapping a route, ignoring the terrain would be foolish. Okay. But looking at a mountain and saying, "Well, I guess I can never go anywhere," would also be foolish. Um, you account for the landscape, you select the equipment, you choose the route, you adjust the pace, and then you decide where you're trying to go. That's it. So personality is the terrain you're in, identity is the direction you're going. So your personality is not your destiny. It is the terrain. You still choose the direction, but your route should account for the landscape. That's the message I'm trying to get across there. Yeah. Oh, here's a fun topic. When personality becomes an excuse. And this one I could talk about for days. When personality becomes an excuse. There's a danger in all of this. Understanding personality can help you design better systems. It can also give us more sophisticated excuses. I'm spontaneous can mean I refuse to plan anything. I need novelty can also mean I abandon everything once it stops being new. You know, for all you introverts out there, I am introverted can also mean I avoid every uncomfortable interaction. And we know our man Larry is not that way, but some introverts are definitely um, social avoidant, which again, nothing wrong with that. But you got to be honest with yourself, honestly. Wasn't intended. I'm competitive. Uh, means I can't enjoy anything unless I'm winning. Nobody likes a sore loser. Nobody likes somebody who can't control themselves if they're not winning a game. It's not the adult grown up look, it's not cool. Not cool at all. Some people say, I'm anxious. That can easily become I must wait until I feel completely safe. And that can make your habits change completely. That will stop you from socializing, going out, doing anything. So things you need to be aware of. A little self-analysis goes a long way. Um, what else? I'm naturally an organizer. I'm not naturally an organizer. I should never be expected to follow through. You're making excuses for your self-imposed limitations by the habits you're choosing to perpetuate. Just saying. Just saying. All those things can become, larger issues. But, that is not personality informed design. That is surrender. You just can't say, well, that's just how I am. I have a short temper and I yell at people. That's what I do. No, use your noodle. Uh, need to create a better habit instead of losing your cool. Because the goal is not to create a life in which you only perform behaviors that feel effortless. Growth often feels uncomfortable. The question is whether the discomfort serves the goal or merely comes from a badly designed system. There's a difference between productive discomfort and unnecessary friction. Exercise, may still be physically difficult. Writing may still require concentration. Social growth may still require vulnerability. Discipline still matters, but discipline should be spent on a meaningful difficulty, not wasted fighting 10 avoidable obstacles surrounding you. Okay? That makes sense? So imagine someone wants to read more, a la me, and I've done well. Because the first time I finished a book, don't know how many months, years, weeks that's been, but back to it. So yeah, imagine someone wants to read more. They keep trying to read, dense nonfiction at 5 a.m. because a successful person online said that was the ideal routine. But they hate mornings, enjoy fiction, and concentrate better at night. Okay? So, knowing all those things, they conclude, I'm just not a reader. That's not my thing. I'm not good at it. No, because they tested one highly specific version of reading and treated the result as permanent identity. You got to try multiple times. I like that. I like that a lot. They tested one highly specific version of reading and treated the result as a permanent identity. Some of y'all try things one time and be like, nope, I'm never doing that again. Environment matters. Timing matters. Mood matters. I'm somebody who's, has a lot of openness, as I mentioned earlier in the stream. Um, but yeah, you got to give something at least one chance, probably two, just in case, because you never know. Some days people just be having off days. I mean, take my DoorDash orders, for example. Some days they don't be sending their best. They don't send their best at all. My fries cold, burger half put together, drink just ice, all watered down. And then some days I feel like they know it was me. Nuggets extra crispy, fries piping hot, Sprite crispy, just the right amount of crisp. Machine ain't messed it up, carbonation just right. That's what I'm saying. You gotta focus on that. So, in this case, hey, what up, Goku? Yo, let's see you with that green. Well, yeah, so the person's essentially, they did everything to try to start a habit or form a new habit in a complete way that was opposite to them. Do things in the time, if reading at 3 a.m. is your favorite time to read, do it at 3 a.m. There's no real rules, honestly, except the ones you create for yourself. So this person, you know, should have made a habit that became I read for 20 minutes before bed, and every third book can be purely entertainment. You know, that is using your habits, designing them to fit your personality, your identity, and your needs. Make the world work for you, and that's when luck starts really happening. Um, some people call it manifestation. Uh, but do things that work for you. I know it sounds simple and straightforward, but do the thing, not that everybody else does, not because you've been doing it for 20 years, but just because this works better for me. A good example, the last few days, I've been I think I was up till 4 a.m. on Friday. I was up till 2 a.m. yesterday, or 2 a.m. this morning, rather, because I like to do things at night. I'm not tired. I have no reason to go to bed. So why do it? Bro, I can take a shower at 2 in the morning. I'm wide awake. I have nothing else going on. These are the things. If it works better for me, nobody says I have to take a shower right when I wake up or right before I go to bed. Take it when it's convenient. Simple things you struggle with, just make them convenient overall. So design around your personality. What personality trait helps you? And what trait most often becomes your excuse? Um, so what personality trait helps you? And what trait most often becomes your excuse? Ooh, all right. I'll give a couple. Openness to experience, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, neuroticism. Anybody fit those? I think I have a high agreeableness, high conscientiousness, high openness to experience. I think I'm kind of mid on the extroversion. Um, and I think I have a low neuroticism. I think that's, yeah. Yeah, I have low neuroticism. Shout out to it. All right, back to it. What were we doing? God bless them, whoever made dark mode. 'Cause these internet screens are terrible. All right, all right. So we'll move on. We'll move on. All right. So applying the idea to your own habits. That's ultimately what we're here to do. Talk about, figure out what we're going to do. So I have better habits. I feel like my life is slowly getting pieced together now. It's trying to create great habits. Again, everything else is just kind of working in the mornings, working in the midday. Work is going good. Uh, Dinner's getting made at reasonable times. Trash is going out. It's just, creating little systems, reminders, alarms, whatever you need to get on track. So let's talk about applying the idea to your own habits. Um, so I will apply them to myself, and you can kind of take that for what it is. So now, so I'm very curiosity driven. I like understanding systems. I like finding patterns. I like entering different environments and figuring out how they work. I can play a game for a long time. I notice the mechanics underneath it and begin predicting what's likely to happen next. A lot of time, a good example of this is, was it Mario Party? I think, yeah, Mario Party. Um, Eventually, I played it so much that and Monopoly, but Mario Party, in particular, I could guess with probably a 75% accuracy of which minigame was going to land on based on where it started. Um, and I could guess what game was coming up next. And I got really good at it. And it's just game mechanics. I understand how games work in general sense. There has to be some randomizer built in there to have it, go so many ticks each time. There are only so many options that they bake into the game. So at some point, you know, if I notice how many times it moves, eventually where it lands, I see that enough times, I can start guessing the numbers. Um, and I do that for all kinds of things in my life, but that's just an example. Uh, Another one would be I used to play Monopoly a lot. And eventually, whatever dice would roll, I could tell you what you could be on the board, what was going to happen. I could predict what the computers were going to do. Um, it was interesting. I after talking with others, that's not exactly common, but it is an interesting thing to have anyway. Um, let's see. So that can be a strength. It means learning itself can become rewarding, but it creates a weakness too. Once I believe I understand the system, repetition can become less interesting. That means a habit based entirely on doing the same thing forever may lose its grip on me. See? So the solution cannot simply be try harder to enjoy repetition. The better solution may be build a stable habit that continues generating new information, a la reality jumper and this whole shebang of bang. That is the part of why reality jumper works for me. It's what I love to do. And yeah, it's just super engaging, interesting. It's on my brain. It draws me in and keeps me highly engaged. Been doing it for a month now, and I mean, every day, if it wasn't so expensive, to always be using different things and programs and audio and uploaders and stuff, I do even more. So, um, yeah, reading's just not reading; it becomes exploration. Streaming is not just pressing the go live button; it becomes a public laboratory. Journaling is not just recording what happened; it becomes pattern collection. The pull-ups are not just exercise; they are a visible marker of continuity. Each behavior contributes to larger map. My natural curiosity becomes part of the reward, but I also need to watch the downside. Curiosity can make starting easy and finishing difficult. Mm. New systems can become more exciting than maintaining existing systems. Optimizations can become a substitute for execution. I feel like they're roasting me right now. Building the perfect workflow can become a way to avoid repeatedly using the workflow. This is where identity needs to intervene. The identity cannot only be I am curious. It also needs to become I complete the expeditions I begin. So that's like subtle pattern shift. You know what I'm saying? Curiosity, shout out to it. But you got to finish what you start. Curiosity starts the expedition, identity finishes it. Okay. So you may not be motivated by repetition itself. You may be motivated by what repetition continues to reveal. So the Atomic Habit Challenge has worked because the structure has both consistency and discovery. The consistent elements are reading, streaming, pull-ups, and journaling. But the subject changes, the insight changes, the conversation changes, the episode changes. That the structure is stable while experience. The structure stays stable while the experience remains alive. That may be one of the strongest habit design lessons I can take from this challenge. Consistency does not always require sameness. It may require a stable container with enough variation to keep it inside it to keep your personality engaged. Try that one more time. It may require a stable container with enough variation inside it to keep your personality engaged. Wow. Lock in on them. Okay. All right. How we doing, folks? Where we at? All right. I'm saying I'm gonna give you some water. So I'll be right back. I need a glass of water. Y'all got me up here talking like it's what I do. And we back. We back. All right. Where was we at? Have a little glass of water. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. Mm-hmm. Chat looking good. All right, what we got? What we got? We can talk about some habit forming stuff. Let's see what else I got to discuss. Okay, yeah, here we go. All right, so it's a challenge to my viewers out there. There's a couple of y'all in the chat. Um, we'll go ahead and say, here's, this is episode 13 challenge. Choose one habit that keeps failing, whatever it is. Do not immediately change the goal, change the method. So, I mean, it can be something small that you want to do. You want to wake up earlier. You want to eat better. You want to quit smoking. You want to do, I don't know what it is. Go to bed sooner. You want to play more video games. Whatever the habit is you want to get done, think about it. Look at it and see, why do you keep failing at that goal? And then try to see how you can change the method at which you're getting there. Ask what version of the habit would better fit your personality without allowing your personality to become an excuse. So maybe you need more structure. Maybe you need less structure. Maybe you need more people, less people, privacy, competition, repetition, more calm. Maybe if so much is going on, you need time to stay here and think. Uh, maybe you need a controlled variety. I love a good bit of controlled variety myself. The goal is not to make everything easy. The goal is to stop confusing unnecessary friction with personal weakness. Everything got friction. I got a little motion, but everything got friction. Uh, your personality is not your destiny. Keep that in mind. I swear to gosh. Yeah, so your personality is not your destiny. It is the terrain. Okay? It is the terrain. Did I? Hold on. Yeah, got it. What's in my glass was so far down. Anyway, so your habits are the paths you repeatedly walk across, and your identity is the direction the paths gradually take you. So your habits are the path you repeatedly walk across, and your identity is the direction those paths gradually take you. So the question I want to leave with you is, what habit are you trying to build in a way that was designed for somebody else? Y'all put the answers. You can put answers in your chat if you want to, um, and then tell me how you would redesign it. So, what habit are you trying to build in a way that was designed for somebody else? If you're not a morning person, but you've got a morning job, how do you deal with it? If you're somebody who likes a lot of sleep, but you're always up late, how are you dealing with that? How are you correcting your habits? All right. So I'll leave you with that. So I'm Dominique, your Chief Curiosity Officer and Reality Jumper Guide. Every stream is another expedition into a different reality. This one starts.